I have been on a mission to bring you guys videos of every deck I consider meta, and in that quest, I have found that Blue Doflamingo is not nearly as dead as you guys might think. For this being my main deck, of course, for all of set 8 and set 9, I'm very happy that this deck is still relevant. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys the deck list, what its pros and cons are, and matchups against various meta decks. So please enjoy.
Heart Pirates TCG.
We have 32 playmats available on our website. Be sure to check them out. Alright guys, so this is the Doffy list that I got right now. I made a slight tweak from VV Theory's stream last night, which I was on, and I'm now playing no Mihawks because it just doesn't seem like there's a point. Almost everything is, kid wall protected these days, or 8 cost or higher, so Mihawk is a little bit too slow and it doesn't hit as many things as you want it to hit. So for the time being, right now we're playing 3000 Worlds, we're playing Red Rock. It's been working pretty well right now. Obviously, to replace the Jinbei, we went ahead and put the 4/6 Gecko Moria. So now we have 12 4/6 vanillas that we can play off the top. We're only playing 2 pudding now. We're not playing any Jozu because that was mainly for BY and the Doffy mirror, and I just don't think it's nearly as good. So that's why we're not playing it. And of course, we're only playing 2 Gecko Moria now. If removal is still very good, then we're going to bump this back up to 4, just like we did in, the old format. But right now I like it at 2 because removal isn't super relevant right now, and it's mainly just aggro. So this card's good into aggro too. Actually, it allows you to get back 2k. So there's an option. We take out 1 or 2 of the Gecko Morias, and we play one or two of these Gecko Morias and play 1 or 2 more of these, but we'll see as the time comes. But I still find that this deck is better than Boa because it's more flexible. We are playing triple Red Rock, triple 3000 Worlds, and obviously this deck is way better in the early game than Boa Hancock, but I do think Boa is better into things like Shanks. It's better into RP Luffy, things around that nature. But now that we're playing 3 Red Rock, I do think that the decks that play a bunch of big guys aren't nearly as safe as they might think, because we still have access to Teach, playing the Law and then bouncing back to Shigi, and then we can Red Rock or 3000 Worlds something. So that's all those are all good options. So yeah, and pudding hasn't been nearly as good either, and a lot of people aren't really playing into pudding too much unless they're Bonnie. Obviously Blackbeard's not going to play into pudding, so this card could be on cut watch. I'm not going to lie, could be on cut watch. But with that being said, we'll go to the videos. Now the first match was actually a nail biter. It's against Zoro, and I forgot to click record, so I'm giving you a turn late. But basically, just played Teach. Teach played Weevil, and I attacked into one of the choppers. Now I like to overprotect my board here in this matchup because I just don't want him to completely overwhelm me, and it's better to, because he's going to run out of cards pretty quickly. We're both going to run out of cards, but I'm actually better at recurring resources than he is. So what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that that chopper gets off the board, so I want to swing 7 into him, see what he does, which is fantastic. Now I'm going to 3000 Worlds the Luffy. I'm going to use Teach's effect to go ahead and play Weevil, and Weevil's going to draw me a card, which is all fantastic, and he draws me a 2k, which is even better. Now, I am running out of resources, like I said, but it's not too big of a deal because we do have Law. Unfortunately, we didn't see any Sengokus until like the very end of the game, so that's why I was running out of resources faster than I normally would. And normally if I was keeping my mulligan hand, or I'm sorry, if I was keeping my hand, I would look for like a Sengoku as well as a Teach, because that's how the value engine starts kind of coming along. But because I mulliganed into this hand, I didn't really have much of an option. The Weevils obviously were fantastic to be able to find some resources, but they're not the end-all be-all, especially when they're not constantly bouncing them like they do in the Doffy mirror. So he's gonna go ahead. This guy kind of high rolled too, to be fair. He had, I believe it's triple chopper as well as the Luffy, so he was doing pretty good. He had a lot of the events too, the come with me events, and he's gonna go ahead and swing 6 and 7. I'm gonna protect it again, draw another Jozu. Definitely, I think I made a bit of a mistake here. I think I should have bounced the Teach. Personally, I think I should have swung Teach into the Hiking Bear and then bounced the Teach back, because I ended up making, this is a big mistake for sure, because I ended up playing the Law and bouncing back the Chopper, which is the right play, but I think I should have bounced the Teach. But the way my head was going, or the way I was thinking at this time, And I did this just before, I played this match just before putting the video out, just to make sure that, you know, the changes I made were, you know, still good. Was my thought process was, if I can bounce back the Weevils, I already have board pressure. Like, I already have a lot of board control. I have 2 Weevils, Teach, my leader, obviously Law. But if I can keep bouncing back these Weevils, I can get draws. I can keep getting draws until I find Sengoku, and then I can start, you know, establishing a value engine with the Sengokus. That was my philosophy. But he had another Luffy, which kind of hurt. Then he had a Mole Gun, which also hurt. Now, this guy made a huge mistake here too. He should have actually, I guess no, he didn't. Now also him playing the Mole Gun there really hurt, because now I can't, there are my Sengokus right there, but now I can't really use them to the best of my ability, because I don't have the Teach anymore. So I'm gonna go 6 into the Luffy, try to get some cards out of his hand, and then I'm gonna go into the Boa, and then Boa, I'm gonna keep the Sengokus there. Boa's gonna swing 8, see if he protects it. If he protected it, I was gonna swing with the 8 with the Law, and then play the Piranha. But I just ended up, you know, being able to save some Dawn, play another Weevil, and things were looking good for me. But you might think, how is this a nail biter? Well, you're about to find out. I only have 2 cards in hand, so, you know, with this guy's ability to play Mole Gun and have a bunch of rushers, it makes it a lot harder to, you know, be able to keep characters on the board. I think Mole Gun might be the best card that was released in set 10. I think it is absolutely game changing now that Kid Wall is the meta, and Kid Wall will never be the same. It will never be the same now that Mole Gun exists. It makes it so many decks have the red color pool access, so it gives them the opportunity to finally deal with Kid, which makes aggro decks much more relevant. Now I'm gonna go 5 into the Zoro here. In retrospect, I considered going for lethal, but I was like, man, if this guy, it's like, this guy, I don't have a lot of counter. He could have Makinos, he can have rush characters, and he can straight up just kill me, even at 4 life, because, you know, all of his guys get plus 1,000. So I decided to control the board a little bit more. Now, this really sucks right here. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, this, this top 5 was pretty abysmal. Now, this did save me. I'm not gonna lie. Keeping this top 5 definitely saved me. And what's funny is I was really debating sending this to the bottom, but I was like, what if I pressure down life and he plays a blocker, and then I can just red rock the character that he plays. That was the goal behind it. And it actually freaking worked, guys. It actually freaking worked. So I was able to swing 9/9 into his life and put him at 1 life. And while I have no cards in hand, it does now what this guy decided to do is a little odd. I'm not gonna lie to you. He triggers into a Mole Gun, and then he pops the Piranha, which I definitely don't understand. I'm not gonna lie, because I was gonna play over the Piranha anyway. So I don't know why he popped the Piranha. Popping the Boa makes him have 1 less character to deal with, but he's gonna be able to clear basically my entire board with this, and he's gonna set up a blocker in the process, which is exactly the issue. And it got pretty scary, to say the least. So he's gonna go 5 here, or 7 into the 5. Easy math, obviously. I only have 1 card in hand, so 7's guaranteed to connect. 8's guaranteed to connect with the 6Ks. And then for his next trick, I believe he's gonna go 5. I think he's gonna go 5 with the Nami here into the Crocodile. I considered letting it go, but I was like, nah, man, I'm already this deep, you know. I already have 1 card in hand. What's another one, or what's 1 less, right? So I decided to save it. He goes 6 into the Weevil, decides to play the Chopper, and this is where the Red Rock comes in play, guys. That's what I'm telling you, man. Like, sometimes when you think ahead, you know, if you guys watch my previous video, sometimes if you think ahead, you know, it really helps. Now, this guy had double Shut Up and Come With Us, which sucks, by the way, because if he would have gotten the blocker from that, I was pretty much just completely cooked. He had another one, like I said, if he could have blocked out. I think he could have blocked out, right? If I'm not tripping. I'm sorry, he could have blocked out of the second attack, and he had the counter to go to get out of this attack right here. So he went 2K, 1K, and I went 5. So in retrospect, I should have actually just went, I definitely should have just went, what is it called? 8K with the Doffy there. That was actually bad math, so don't listen to that. All right, so this next game, we got Usopp versus Doffy. Definitely, absolutely my worst matchup, 100%. And definitely do not want to see this if you're playing Doffy in a regional coming up. This is a matchup that is very unfavored for Doffy unless your opponent, like, if your opponent doesn't see stage until late, then this matchup is actually almost free for Doffy. So maybe because of the variance like that, maybe it is not as bad as you might think, because their win condition is, you know, one card essentially. So if they don't see that one card, there's a chance that you actually could win this matchup. So, you know, going forward, hopefully they just brick, right? I mean, that's kind of, that's kind of how a lot of things go. This is now, please guys, I was, like I said, like I say in every single video, is I'm testing out different variants all the time. I'm testing out, you know, turbo versions and everything. So you're going to see that 4-cost crocodile right there. Turns out it's not amazing. It's decent. It's not awful. It's decent, but it's not good enough to warrant a spot in this deck, especially now that 3000 Worlds is playing a bigger part in the meta than I thought it would. So I'm very happy to cut the crocodile for 3000 Worlds, which is essentially what I did, because it's just a better answer for a lot of the cards in the meta. Gets rid of Sabo, gets rid of Rebecca, gets rid of Tashigi, Smoker, the Luffy, you know, it just gets rid of everything pretty much. So I think it's a fantastic card. I think it's probably the best event right now other than Mulgum. And I do my top 5 right here, and I think I'm gonna draw into the Law just to have the option in case he plays like a 3-cost blocker. Law, what really sucks is the real issue with this matchup, guys, is Law doesn't actually do anything. Law legit does not do anything, because you have to balance a 4 or less, and all of his characters that are like actually matter with the leader effect are 5s. So it makes it really tough to actually control the board. That's why another reason why 3000 Worlds is so good is because, and I wasn't playing it in this version right here, and it really hurt. But you know, when these guys get, you know, the stage out, their Cavendishes are 5s that, you know, you can't get off the board. They're constantly swinging 6s or 7s, cycling hands. Like, it makes it really tough, actually. I think Cavendish is by far the best card in that deck, other than Stage, of course. Like, you know, Stage is absolutely broken. I don't think Stage was ever really intended to be on a leader like that can attack. So I'm surprised they made Usopp, to be fair. But Usopp really struggles. I'm curious how they're gonna balance Usopp in the future, because, you know, it really struggles into guys that play like top end characters. So I wonder if they're just like not gonna really release good Dressrosa support like ever. I'm very curious on how that's going to work. He's gonna go 5 into my leader right here, and I don't know why it took so long to counter out. I think maybe I was like texting. I have no idea, but definitely give him an easy 1k right there. Give him the crocodile. And yeah, I found that like crocodile was just a lot of times just a 1k counter, and like I said, that's why I decided to cut it, because it just wasn't nearly as good. In a situation like this, 3000 Worlds would have been insane, because he doesn't get the draw. He has like 6 cards, and then he doesn't get the cycle off Frankie. Well, he can't get the cycle off Frankie anyway with the Leo, because his leader's rested, but still, 3000 Worlds along with the Teach there, phenomenal. Really, really, really strong. So I'm going to swing 7 into leader right here, and he's going to give me a 2k and a 1k. Of course, that's the sequencing you have to do, because, you know, for you to use your leader effect, that's what you have to do. I did say I sequenced this wrong. I don't know if you guys saw that. I don't remember what I could have done differently in this regard. I typed in the notes I sequenced this wrong to show you guys, but I don't know. I don't remember why I sequenced this wrong. I think maybe, I don't know, man. I have no idea. Maybe like I was gonna swing 8 first. Maybe that's like a better sequencing. I have no idea. Maybe 8 to like force him to take the card. I think that might be what I was thinking, is if you attack for the higher numbers against Usopp first to put them out of the threshold of drawing cards when their blockers get KO'd. So for example, that guy had 6 cards, right? So if he counters out of a 7, then his next block is going to draw a card. But if he can't counter out of the 7 for whatever reason, and you attack for 8k instead, then it's harder for him to counter out, and he's going to go to 7 cards. So when he blocks, he actually doesn't get any value off it. So I think that's what I was thinking. Attack the biggest number first, and that's actually very relevant. So keep that in mind for sure. Keep that in mind. A lot of times, Usopp kind of loses value whenever they just have a lot of, crazy enough, Usopp is worse when they have more cards in hand, right? So whenever it's similar to Boa, right? I mean, their leader effect, like when you're playing Usopp and you have a ton of cards in hand, you're basically playing without a leader effect. He's gonna swing 5 in the Teach. I have to let the Teach go. Because he's just gonna swing into it with the Zoro anyway. So there's no reason for me to. I'm gonna swing 6 into leader right here. There's nothing I can do anyway. He's already at 4 cards, so at this point of the game, it doesn't matter if I attack for the lower numbers first. I'm curious what I'm gonna do for this turn right here. I think it's just gonna go. I think it's gonna be like Gecko, get back Teach, and then play a Weevil. Based on my hand right now, that's what I can see. I don't think a bounce law is ever going to be in the equation in this matchup because, like I said, he doesn't really do anything. He does not really do anything. So I'm going to swing 7 into his life. He's going to go ahead and take it. Yep, Gecko, get back Teach, play the Weevil. That way I'm able to keep the when you don't have Teach on the board, Doffy actually kind of sucks. Like low key, actually high key, it kind of sucks. And this guy still doesn't have stage out, which is literally the only reason this matchup's even winnable. The problem is like his guys are just popping your stuff, and they're also like 5k 6k plus bodies, so when they're popping your stuff, bouncing your stuff, and then also swinging into board at the same time the turn that they're played, it makes it so your tempo is like just gone, right? So a play like this normally, you know, Rebecca or Kiros bouncing back Weevil and then swinging whatever into your face, right? That's pretty tough. Now he swings 5 into me. I go ahead and take it because I figured I really want to use the I really want the extra counter to protect my board. Now my board is like already pretty strong. I only realistically need, what is it called? 1 character on the board because I have a full board. So the rest of my dawn, I'm just going to commit to my to attacking and just put this guy as low as humanly possible. And at this point, I'm not even going to worry about the Zoro. I have plenty of counter. I have 2 2Ks. I have multiple 1Ks. I have 3 life. And this guy's going to have to deal with my board or go for game on the following turn, which he can only do pretty much with the Kong gun. And even then, it's going to be pretty unlikely, I would say. So I'm going to start with a clean 7. This guy does play Gravity Blade, so I'm a little concerned about that. A 7 is surely to get the Leo off the board. I guess not. Or I'm sorry, the Idio off the board. Another 7 it is. Yep. And then we're gonna go because I don't think I'm gonna play a character because it's just a waste. So I'm just gonna use Teach's effect to play a character off the top. So I think I'm gonna go 8 here. Yeah, I'm gonna go 8 and then 9 into leader. Yep, as much pressure as you can possibly put on him. Like I said, he doesn't have stage, so it's pretty much free in this matchup if they don't have stage, because this deck just doesn't do anything. Honestly, they don't have stage. And then I, use my Teach, go ahead and get a Weevil, and this guy pretty much just crumbles. So we're gonna go into the next game right here because he just scoops right now. Yep. All right, so this last game is against Blackbeard. Now, I do like going first against Blackbeard because if they start using their leader effect turn 1, then it turns off Sengoku, it turns off Perona, which is exactly what he did, which really blows, by the way, because a lot of Blackbeard players don't really know that. They don't know to use their leader effect turn 1. They're like, oh, they're just going to play Sengoku or Perona. Yeah, that's kind of the engine of our deck. So this guy was smart, and he ended up doing that for sure, and it really hurt. It really set me far behind, and my hand is not very good, to say the least, especially if he goes dot Q here. I'm lucky he didn't go dot Q here, guys, because if he went dot Q, that would have not been good. That would have not been good. Now, I will say this matchup is a lot harder now that they have Liberation, because it's just really tough to I hate leaving things like Lafitte on the board, but sometimes you have to avoid playing into Liberation. But in this situation, if I played a character, I'd have 2 more than him anyway, so I'm not going to give him the free card. So obviously 5 into 2, he's probably just going to finger pistol or black hole the 4/6, which honestly, the first couple characters, they literally are like, I feel bad, but they are just fodder. They are just complete fodder. It's almost like when you guys are, I mean, you guys probably don't know this, but when you're in the army, you train to like clear rooms, and the first couple people in the room are probably gonna die. The first couple people that are entering a hostile room, they're gonna get shot. It's usually the second guy to recover after they recover from shock, but it's the same thing, right? Your first 2 guys, against Teach, they're probably just dead the second they're played. Damn, that got kind of depressing. So Sorry about that. He's gonna go 8 into the 6 here. I'm gonna do everything I can to just save it. I probably should have countered. No, actually that's fine. And then he liberations it, which is, like I said, it's just rough, dude. It's just so rough when they just go like Burgess into, or Black Hole into Burgess into Liberation into Teach. It just makes it really tough to win the game, man. And he trashes a finger pistol. I go ahead. I'm shocked. If I take this, I would be shocked. But then again, like I want to play the 2 4s next turn on my 8 Dawn turn, so I do take this even though it's risky. I guess never mind. I guess not. I guess I realized I wasn't doing it either way. So this is absolutely insane, by the way. This is absolutely 100% insane. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what I'm doing in this video. Holy moly. Normally I would swing into the Burgess right there, I would think, right? So I would either swing into Burgess, or I would what is it called? I would either swing into Burgess or swing 5 and play the 2 4s. So I'm just completely shocked that I actually did that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to think what was in my mind at this time. I think at this point I was playing Gravity Blade, but this guy goes Kuzan, draw a card into Van Augur into a dot Q. That's rough. I go ahead. He swings. What's it called? Swings 10 into me, and I go ahead. And oh my god, there's the Vasco shot. That's insane. So, and luckily I draw into another red rock. Thank god, man. Thank god, because this game was going as bad as you could expect it. So I go fudge it. I'm gonna go red rock the Van Augur, 8 into leader, use my effect, and say, you know, whatever. Now this guy could have gone for lethal actually. Actually, no, he couldn't. No, he couldn't have. He'd have to Dawn up the dot Q, and you know, he just didn't have enough Dawn. So he's gonna swing 6 here. I'm gonna go ahead and Kaya. You know, this and that. Now I'm lucky he didn't go like, you know, if he went double blocker here, like if he went Vasco shot, Kuzan into another Vasco shot, the game's over. You know, there's nothing I can do. Luckily he just goes to the Teach, and I'm like, oh thank god. Whew. So yeah, that's that game, guys. But this deck I honestly still think is pretty good, and well, there's the game right there. So there it is, guys. That is Doffy for you. I still don't know if he's the best deck in the format. I don't think he is. I still think Shanks is, but you know, while I'm on this journey to figure out what deck feels right for me in set 10, and also, you know, bring you guys the results of all my testing, because I probably have more time to test than you guys. You know, this is just what I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future, and obviously include like master classes and things like that. Big shout out, you know, if you guys are still watching, be sure to like the video, you know, really helps boost the algorithm. Subscribe, that would be fantastic, and check out moonlighttcg.com for my playmats and card sleeves and things like that. So thanks.